I'm back. Alright. Much awaited next video here. Okay, we're going to move on. 11 to 20. Okay. So keep your list of 1 through 10. The list will stay the same. I put mine on a separate sheet of paper, but you can just continue on down your list. What you need to do, 11 through 20, just like we did 1 through 10 before. Okay. Now these numbers we've already got, because 1 through 9 and 0, that's all the numbers in the world. The rest of these numbers are just combinations of those first 10 numbers. So 1, 1, we remember 1 being a T. So you're going to write 2 T's. And now all we have to do is fill in the middle with a vowel. Tot, like a tater tot. Okay? Actually, all of the teens, 11 through 19, will all start with the letter T, because they all start with 1. So go ahead and put T's all the way down. All of these words will start with the letter T, because they all start with the number 1. I think you know where I'm going with this. Of course, 2 is the letter N. So we just have to fill in the blank there and make a word out of it. Something that's a noun. Use a noun, not a verb. Verbs, we have a hard time getting a mental picture of that. But a noun is something that we can hold in our hand, that we can actually associate with the word on our list. Okay. The word that I use, and this could be, you can make up your own words from here on out, but always keep the same words, as not to confuse. Like if I use, like for instance, taught, I always have to use taught. If I change that word, when it comes time to someone saying what's number 11 on your list, I'm going to be thinking about what my hook word was. And if it's always the same, then you're never, once you get to practicing and everything, you're not going to wonder. It's always going to be there. So try to keep the same words. Whatever your initial list is, you can do this from 1 to 100. Okay? Just make sure you have the same words, and it's something that's really familiar to you. So see, I put 10. Okay? As you can see, I've already made up my grocery list here on the side. I'm just going to associate tan with watermelon, and I'll get to that, but I'm thinking of a watermelon out on the beach getting a tan. It's pretty crazy. Okay. The word I use for number 13, of course we know the 3 is an M, is my name, Tim. And I picture whatever it is on the list, me holding that item, or if it's grease or something, me smearing grease all over myself or something, you know, I associate myself with that. But if you don't want to use me, you can use T-A-M, Tam, which is a type of hat. For 1-4, we know the 4th letter in the word for is R. So that's going to be your letter for the number 4. So it becomes TR is 14. So fill in the blank there. I try to use vowels, of course, because you can't have a word without a vowel. Tar. Okay. 5. L. TL. Put in some vowels. My word is tail. I always think of a tiger's tail. There's all kinds of different tails out there. Keep that mental picture in your mind. A tiger tail. It's always going to be a tiger's tail. Or if you choose a monkey or whatever's most familiar with you, always keep that same visual image in your head. Otherwise it'll get confusing. This part's going to get a little tricky, because whereas before 6 was the letter J, it now becomes a sound. And just like you studied your times tables in school, you know how you did your 3s, 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, on and on and on, until you got it to where it was like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, whatever. and then 3 times 2 is 6, and until it just comes totally just real quick at you like that. 3 times 4 is 12. On and on. But when you get to the 6s, I suggest you write down all the numbers that have that 6 in there and get to know that list really well, because now the 6 is going to become a sound. It's not just the letter J. Just like Z, 0 was the Z or the S sound. This now is a sound of a J or a Ch or a Sh. Those similar type sounds right there. Okay, so number 16, it has to start with a T because it starts with the letter 1. My word is tissue. It has that sound. Okay, we know number 7, and before was the letter K. My word is tack. Now you're saying, what about the C? The C we can use. It's not a vowel, but we can use it because it's not in our original 10. And those original 10 is what we have to stick with. Okay, now 8 was an F. Remember the lowercase f that we drew? Kind of looked like an 8. My word is taffy. There again, we didn't use Y in the original 10. Sometimes it's a vowel, but you know. Okay, number 9 in the mirror is a P. I always like to try to use A because it's the quickest to me. I don't have to sit there. Was it top or was it, something else? I use tap. Yes, that's a verb, that's an action or whatever, but the mental picture, as long as it's there, you can still use it. I have a hard time remembering top. I want to say tap. It just comes natural to me to first say tap before I say top. When I'm thinking T, P, I automatically just throw an A in there, so I went with it. Yeah, it's a verb, but it's also like the act of, like tap dancing. So that's the visual image that I have in my head, is someone tap dancing when I think of tap. Now, you're done with the T's because now you have a 20, which is just 2 and 0. Our letter for 2, which will be all the 20s, will start with the letter N. And then you got that Z sound. Whereas before 10 was toes, now it starts with an N, and we go with nose. Okay. My grocery list. And you can pause this or go back to it or whatever. I'll read it off real quick. Ketchup, watermelon, corn, soap, matches, razors, light bulbs, carrots, pudding, and hot sauce. Now it's just a matter of associating.